Hello, and welcome back to Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus. Today, as you can see, we'll be working on props and centerpieces. I want to show you how to make oversized props on a regular 8.5 by 11 inch printer. So the props I'm going to be working on today are for my newborn niece's sip and see that will be happening sometime soon. They want to give her some time to be home first. She comes home this week. So I'm going to be making a baby prop and also a teddy bear prop, but I'm going to alter it a little bit. The baby prop is going to be this one, which I already like this picture, so I don't have to change anything on it. And the teddy bear prop, I want to make a standing teddy bear because this is going to be like a centerpiece for probably the food table or dessert table. And I like the rest of the teddy bear, but I don't like his face, so I'm going to be changing out his face right now. And then we're also going to be making a block, baby blocks, because I want them to spell out her name. So first I'm going to alter my teddy bear to how I want him to look, and I don't like his eyes. I do like part of this, and I'm going to go to touch up and clone because I want to get rid of these beady eyes he has. So I'm going to see how big my pointer is. You can change it to any size, and if I change it to this bigger size, I can get the whole eye in one click. So you click outside to the part that you want to use to color the next part. So once you click once, it makes that plus sign stationary, and now I'm just gonna go right over his eyeball or whatever he calls that and click once, and then I'm gonna go to the other one and click once. So I have those out of the way. Now actually I can just increase this whole size, this whole mouth area. So I'm going to go to cut out of picture with the cookie cutter shape, and I'm just going to use a circle just so I want to keep his rosy cheeks and the shape of this, but I don't like his nose and mouth. So I'm going to just fit this around until I have the areas that I want to keep. And I have his rosy cheeks in there still. So I'm going to click next and done. And now I'm going to resize this because I want it a little bigger. And then I'm going to move it down some. About right there looks good to me. Now this mouth has got to go, so I'm going to go to cut out, I'm going to go once again to clone paint. So click on it so you'll know which part you're going to be changing. I'm going to go to touch up clone painting, and I'm just going to do the same thing I did with his eyes. I'm going to choose a spot and just get rid of that. And for his nose, I can either trace that on my own, but I think I'm going to use a circle to just cut out his nose so that I can blend it in with the rest of his muzzle so that I can change it to the one I want to use. So I'm just going to bring this up and bring these sides in so that I'm only cutting out the nose area. That should work. Hit next and done. And I'm just going to go to paint and color effects, fill with a solid color, and just click anywhere in the area that kind of blends this in, because it's going to be covered anyway with my new nose that I'm going to put on the teddy bear. So now I'm going to go to this teddy bear, and I like his features, but I don't like that he's not smiling, but I can adjust that. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit, and I'm going to pull out just the area of his face that I want by going to cut out in picture, cut out of picture by color selection. I'm going to drop this down to 1 because if I left it on 2, it would probably pull in all of these lighter shades of brown, but I just want just his eyebrows, his eyes, and his nose and mouth. And when I click in his eyebrow, I'm dragging it a little bit because the more you drag it, it pulls in the little extra colors that might not have been included. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish filling this area in that I want to cut out by clicking and dragging. And anywhere you see that's not included, some of these little darker areas, you can zoom in a little bit and try to click and drag in those areas so that it will pull the rest of that in. And actually for this eye, since it's black, I might be able to get it all just by changing it to 2 and coming up and just dragging right around in that area. Yeah, that got it. Now a little bit more up here. Alright, so that looks good. I'm going to zoom out and hit next and done. So now I'm going to go back to my teddy bear that I do want to use, and I'm going to just click on the teddy bear that has the nose and eyes and mouth I want, and the little menu, sub menu comes here, and then I'm just going to click right here in the cutout, which you'll see on your screen when you do this, and I'm just going to drag it up into this picture. I probably need to explain again, the screen capture that I'm using, for some reason it doesn't show the sub menus. So if you watch some of the earlier videos first, you'll see all the sub menus because I was recording a different way, and you can see all the sub menus so that you'll know where they pop up. So watch some of the earliest videos and you'll see all of the sub menus that I work with, and then you'll realize what I'm talking about when I'm pointing at phantom spots on the screen. Alright, that you see nothing. Okay, so now I have that face, and I think that looks adorable, much better than his original face, but I want him to be smiling. So I'm going to just click here and make myself a new picture. I'm going to go to cutout in picture, add a colored shape, and for now I'll just make it black. Hit done. Now I'm going to go back to cutout in picture, cut out a picture with the cookie cutter shape, and I'm going to choose the circle again. This time I'm going to drag it up a little bit so that I'm just getting a little curve of the circle. So I'm going to hit next, and then I'm going to hit select opposite area because this is the area that I want to keep. So now I'm going to hit done, and I'm going to get rid of that big circle, and now I have the smile that I can use for my teddy bear by just pulling down on this middle quadrant marker. And I'm going to go back to my teddy bear, and I'm going to choose this whole area in its face. I'm going to lock it. I'm going to zoom in a little, and now I want to get rid of this smile so I can put in my smile that I want to add to it. So I'm going to go to touch up once again, clone painting. I'm going to make my marker a little smaller, and I'm just going to click right above it, and now I'm just going to erase that mouth. And once you run out of space, you see it started picking up some extra dark from here. The dark, what is that? I don't know, it's part of the muzzle. But it started picking up some of this black that I didn't want to pick up. So now you want to reset your marker because you see that the circle and the plus sign are locked together. So to release that, you're just going to click on this green flag, and it says set a new start position, and now you can find a new position. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to take out that extra little piece I didn't mean to add there. Then I'm going to click again because now I want to do the same thing to this side, and I'm going to just follow that all the way over to that midline again. I need to click again because I'm picking up this and I didn't want to pick up that, so just click again on the flag so that you can get rid of that. I'm just going to make this a little neater. Alright, now click done. and he needs his new mouth. And I'm going to bring up my mouth. Now I'm going to click on the mouth so that I can change it to the same color of this line that's going down. I'm going to go to Paint and Color Effect, fill with a solid color, and I'm just going to click inside of that to make it the same dark brown as the rest of uh, his mouth features. And now I'm just going to shrink this down and center it where I want it to be. That mouth is too big, so I'm going to flatten it out a little bit. Excuse me, for some reason my allergies are really acting up today. I'm going to try not to be too noisy. Now I have a happy bear. I like him better smiling. Alright, so now he's all done. And let's get started on the blocks that I want to spell Cali with. So I'll switch to this one. This is a block from an old project, but I want to update it for this one. I'm going to be using this heart balloon instead of this diamond because this will make it fit in with the rest of the design, because I'm going to have that teddy bear that I just finished adjusting holding this balloon. This has a balloon. So I'm going to put this in the middle of my block instead. And this is going to be the front of my block. So that's why I'm aiming my heart where it could be visible, because this is going to be the top of the cube. And all I did to find this, this actually says about.com, but all I did to find this cube was type in baby block template or cube template or box template, square box template. Any of those will bring up this style template or some variations on it. And I just Googled it a long time ago, and I save it and I use it for any time I need to make a block. And also it comes of course with dark black lines, and all I did was once I had it in my screen, I just did the cutout of picture, and clicked right on the lines. I'll zoom in, clicked right on the lines, and then I changed them to gray so that I wouldn't have to, I would know where to fold the cube, but they would be almost invisible. And you can make them even lighter if you want, but this worked out perfectly for the look. It didn't take away from the design at all. So I'm going to just cover these so that I can put in new colors, and probably not going to use the glitter texture. I'm probably just going to go with all solid textures. So now I'm going to just adapt this to my new project. So I'm going to go to cutout and picture, add a colored shape. I'm going to go with a square, make it white, and I'm just going to cover up each of these sides with the square, white square. And I'm just hitting on copy, which is here by the scissors, and then paste, which is next to the scissors. And I'm just going to put one over the areas that I won't be using for my block. Alright. Okay, so this area I'll also put a white square because I want it underneath the heart that I'm going to be using. So now to start on creating my new block, I'm going to go to cutout and picture, add a colored shape, move it over a little bit, and I'm going to change the color by going to more color choices. I'm going to just click on the pink for now. I might change this later to the color. I guess I could have left the baby up there so that I might draw some colors from her maybe. I think I'll This matches that portion, so I can still work with it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and change this to the darker pink of her clothes. So now I have my block to the color I want it. I'm going to take it to this other page where I had the mouth, and I'm going to just click on the block and pull up that pink square. Now that I have it the color I want, I'm going to delete this smiley face because I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to put a shadow around this box, and this is going to be the same one that I use on each side of the block. So I'm just going to put a soft shadow around it. So I went to, so now I want to put a soft shadow or a shadow around this box. So now I want to put a shadow around this box because I'm going to use this side. So now I want to put a shadow around this square because this is going to be the shape that I use on all sides of the cube or the block. So I'm going to go to Special Effects, Shadow. I'm going to hit Soft. I'm going to click on any corner and pull it out a little bit until I like the depth that it gives it. And I think that's a pretty good, I think that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to go to Cutout and Picture. Cut out of picture with a cookie cutter shape, and you could either choose another square, but in this one I'm going to do it with the square that has the corners. As you can see, the corners are cut off. So I'm just going to move that into my block. I'm going to resize it, make sure that all these sides look pretty even, and they all look pretty even. I'm going to hit next, and you'll really see if you need to make any adjustments. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to go with that. So now I'm going to use Select Opposite Area because this is the part that I want to keep. And I'm going to hit Done. And I'm going to get rid of that original square, pink square. So now I want a shadow on the inside of my box. I'm going to go to Special Effects, Shadow, and this time I'm going to push inward instead of pull outward. When I push inward, it will put the shadow on the inside of the box. So I'm going to just push in until I have it. I can make it look the same as the outside, or I can make it a little less. I might make it a little less, just so it shows a little difference between them, but you could still see that it has a shadow edge. I'm going to click Done. And now I'm ready to bring this up into my cube. So I'm going to click on the cube. I'm going to click Switch to in the little pop-up menu. And I can now get rid of this one. And I can actually get rid of my baby, but I'll just put her over there for now because I might want to pull a color out of her again. And now I'm just going to drag up this square that I made the cutout with and drop it into this box, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stretch it out so that it is hopefully the same distance from the edges all around, because I want to leave some room so they can see her name. I think I'm going to pull this out more so that I can have optimal area to put her letters, the letters of her name in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it 4 times. I'm not putting a character on the bottom of the box because it won't be seen anyway. And I want to resize these. I'm going to go click on my back arrow so I can group them all together and resize them all at the same time. So I'm just going to go to any corner that's outside of the boxes that I want. I'm going to drag from the top left corner to the bottom right, and then puts this little puzzle piece around, and I'm going to click that puzzle piece, and then I'm going to bring it down right next to this box, and I'm going to resize it so that they'll all be the same size. And if the cube might not be exact, I've used it before so it comes out perfectly, but if it's not the exact size on all of them, you can individually reshape them a little bit. and you're just going to put one on each side. This is going to be our bottom. So, oops, I guess I didn't make enough. Doggone it. I'll make one more. Thought I made 4. 3, I mean. Alright, and I'll just resize this one by this one. And move that up. Okay, so that looks good. Now for the letters. I'm going to go into my text and I'm going to look for the chunkiest font that I can find that will make these blocks look good. And I'm just going to scroll through until I find one that makes me think of a regular block. And now that I have my C there, I can actually see the changes in real time as I go down and pop them in there. Alright, was it Subway? Yeah, I think it was Subway. Because Subway has the look of a regular block. So, alright. So I guess I'll go with Subway. Now to choose the color. Maybe I'll go with the skin color. But for those who might be just starting out, I will let you know that. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the brown of her skin, or I could go with the gold of her rattle. Anything to bring it in. And I'm just going to put C all around this one. And you'll see how I set them up. And you will need to set yours up the same way. First I'm just going to put a C in every one. And then I'll turn them all the way they need to go. All of their tops should be facing toward the heart. So now we need to turn all of these in the right direction. The tops of all of them should be facing the heart. So I'm going to click on this one first. That's C. I'm going to go to size and position, rotate. And I'm going to rotate it right so that it will be, the top of it will be facing the heart. I'm going to hit done, and I'm going to reposition it in the middle of that block. I think the other C's were a little bigger than the original C, so I'm just going to shrink it down from any corner so that I'm keeping my proportions, and I'm going to just try to, it might not have been bigger, that might be a part of the box that's not exactly square, but that's alright, we can make it work. It will look the same once it's all done. And now I'm going to go to size and position, rotate, and this one should be rotate left. I'm going to hit done, and I'm going to resize this one a little bit too, so that it looks like it's the same distance from the top and bottom as this one, or pretty close to it. And lastly, I'm going to click on this one. So now I'm going to go to this C, click on this C, I'm going to go to size and position, rotate, and this one will be half turn. I'm going to click done. And that one looks fine. Just move it over a little bit to make sure it's centered. Okay, so now we have all our C's. We have the C block. I'm just going to save this, and then I'm going to use the same one, and I'll just change the letters each time to the letters of her name. Now I'll just change this by clicking on the letter, click Edit Text, change it to an A, and just right click on each one of these letters, hit Edit Text, and change it to the new letter. Hit Done, and I'll show you after I have them all done. Okay, now I've saved all my letters for her name, which is Callie. And now I'm going to show you how to resize the props that we're going to be making. So now I'm going to show you how to make her oversized. Now I want to print her out so that she will be as tall as, or somewhere in the vicinity of 3 sheets of paper. And so I'm trying to make her at least 24 inches tall. I'm going to cut her into 3 sections where she might normally be separated so that I can make her big enough to fit on 3 sheets of paper so that I can put her back together again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to cut out of picture, and I'm going to start with a box this time. Now you can either use boxes, or I'm going to put it right on the separation of her arm and these fingers. So that's going to be my first one. Then I'm not going to do anything with that one. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to go to cut out again, cut out of pictures with a cookie cutter shape, and this time I'm going to start a little beneath that one so that I'm still including it. And I'm going to get this midsection, and I can bring it up a little bit so that I can use this section to overlap her face. And I'm going to click next and done. And last but not least, I'm going to get her face, but I'm going to use that whole area from this pillow to the top of her rattle. So I'm going to make another box, and I'm just going to have it overlap a little bit with her face. So I want this right at the base of her face and right at the top of her head. Just like that. So I'm going to click done and done again. And now I have my 3 pieces. So I have this piece, I have this piece, and I have this piece. Now usually I always have the main pieces that I wouldn't want to cut out in the middle of her face. This is just so that I can line this piece up correctly. So I have this chunk of her and I have this chunk of her, and I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to turn all 3 of them just like this, because I want to fit them into this whole page. So there's the first piece. Here's the next piece. And you'll see why I'm doing it like this in a minute. And then I'll take the last piece, turn it, and I'm going to put them all behind each other because I want to resize them all at the same time so they'll all be the same size. So now I'm going to go to the top left corner, pull down to the right, and I'm going to group all of these. And since this part of the cutout is the largest, I'm going to pull until this piece is as big as it can get on the page, because I can't get it any bigger than that without having a lot of extra pieces to cut out. So I'm just going to position her until I can get her as large as I could possibly get her. If I had to turn it a little bit, I can even get in some more size, just a little bit more. Until I have her head portion as big as I can get it on the page, and that's as big as I can get it on the page. So now I'm going to ungroup them so you can see your 3 layers, but I need to save each one of these as a separate piece. Move this down a little bit. So I'm going to go to cut out in picture, add a colored shape. I'm going to change it to white, and I'm going to drag it just down to the first layer, and then I'm going to pull it until it fills in the entire square. So you see I have just her face here. So now I'm going to save this piece. I'm saving that as Cali Top. So I saved that piece as Callie top. Now I'm going to click on Callie's head and I'm going to drag her all the way to the bottom. So I have my white sheet showing. Then I'm going to click on the second piece. I'm going to bring it up to the top. Now this is already the correct size because I cut them all together and I resized them all together. So now I'm going to save this as Callie middle. Going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to drag Callie's middle all the way down to the bottom. Now I'm going to drag the next piece up to the top, which is her diaper and feet. And I'm going to do the same thing. File, save as, and I'm going to save that as Callie bottom. And I'm saving that in JPEG format. So I've saved all three of those pieces in JPEG format and I'll be ready to print them. Now I'm going to my teddy bear. And I decided I wanted to fancy him up a little bit, so I'm going to just drag up a copy of the heart balloon and I'm going to drop it in the middle of his stomach, turn it a little bit. And I can either take this off so it's just a complete heart, and I think I will. So I'm just going to group the whole picture by going to the top left, group, hit the puzzle piece. I'm going to zoom back in, go to touch up, clone paint, and I'm just going to paint that tail part of the balloon out. Just by positioning and clicking to choose the area, and now it just looks like a heart. Now like that, much better. It looks more pleasant to me. Alright, so now we're ready to chop up our teddy bear, and we're going to chop him up the same way, but this time so I can have his whole head, I'm going to use a circle to chop off his head. I don't know what that little white area, I'm going to touch that up right quick. Yeah, there we go. I don't know where that came from, but we'll take care of it just like that. So now I'm going to do my same thing. I'm going to cut him into 3 pieces. Now we're going to cut up the teddy bear. So I'm going to go to cut out and picture with the cookie cutter shape. And I'm going to go beneath his head. And you can cut these out on Cricut if you want to, but then you're locked into the parameters that they set. So I'm going to cut these out by hand. It won't take long. They're easy to do. And then I'm going to hit done. So I have his big head, and now I'm going to get my next shape by going to cut out a picture with a cookie cutter shape, and I'm just going to leave enough of his chin so that I will be able to line up his midsection. And I'm going to drop it down to the bottom of his belly. Hit next and done. And last but not least, we'll get his feet by going to cut out a picture with a cookie cutter shape. And once again, I'm going to leave in a little of his belly so it will be easy to line everything up. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to put them all together. I'm going to delete the main bear. I'm going to group them, turn them to the side, and I'm going to resize them as big as I can get them on the page. So I'm just switching them around. You don't have to, but I'm just switching them around so I could start with the head again. So I'm going to go to Cutout in Picture, add a colored shape, change it to white, and now I'm just going to drag it down one layer, put it all the way to the side so that you're covering up the entire area beneath it, and we're just singling out our teddy bear, because in this case his arms were the widest portion. So I'm going to bring that up to the top just to make sure that I couldn't see if I could get this teddy bear any larger. Yeah, I can get it larger, looks like. So I'm going to so now I have my pieces. So now I have my pieces all lined up. I'm going to group them together. Now for the teddy bear, he had pieces that seemed a little wider than others. So I'm just going to stack them on top of each other until everything is pretty much in line. And then I'm going to make this once again by going to the top corner, dragging all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to group it, and I'm going to size this as wide as I can get it on this page. Without cutting any part off. So that looks like it's the widest that I can get it, and I'm going to ungroup it. I'm just changing the positions. You don't have to do this. I'm just changing the position so I can save them in the same order I did previously. So that's going to be pretty good size. So I'm going to go once again to Cutout in Picture, add a colored shape, change it to white, hit done, and I'm going to drag this under the teddy bear's head, just down one layer. Then I'm going to move it up so that it's covering all of the area outside of the teddy bear's head. So you see my quadrant markers, and that covers the two pieces that are beneath. So now I'm going to save this teddy bear, Callie teddy head. Alright, so now I have all these done, and now all I need to do is my balloon. And the balloon is just fine just like this. I'm just going to resize it to as big on the page as I can get it. And I don't want it too oversized, so I'll just stick with this, and I'm going to save that. Now before I save this one, I'm checking to see if there are any white edges. And whenever I'm going to cut out in Cricut, I would always add a shadow around the image so that any of the white edge, once you go in Cricut and you pull out the edge, then it will take out any white that's showing in these sides or any color that's similar to white, and you would have pieces out of your image. So whenever you're taking any type of image that have any type of an edge that looks close to white or that is white, always crop it out and picture it and put a shadow around it, a soft shadow. And then when you take it into Cricut, you'll keep your same shape. But I'm going to be cutting these out by hand, so I don't have to do that. Alright, so I'm ready to print all of these out, and then I'll see you when I get ready to assemble. I decided I wanted to make some decorative paper to possibly make it into a base for the teddy bear. So I found these polka dots, and I just put them on the page with my teddy bear part. And I pull the color, not that teddy bear part, from its feet. I use this color in the feet, I guess I could have used the baby's color, but since I'm working with the teddy bear, the majority of it is this pink. So I want to change these to match the majority color in the teddy bear. Let me see which color. Okay, he has it in his ears, so I'm gonna stick with this color. And all I did was it was a hot pink, and all I did was go to Paint and Color Effects, fill with the solid color, and just chose the pink from his ear, or I think I chose it from his feet. It's the same color pink. So I'm going to use that pink. I'm going to hit done, and I just brought it on the same page so that I could match the color. And then I did the same thing, just pulled every other thing on this page down to the bottom, and I want to make this into a full pattern because I want the polka dots to be somewhat smaller. Actually, I can keep them this size. If I wanted to make them smaller, I could just shrink it down a bit, but I think it'll be easier to match it up in this size. And this is how I make a full sheet of decorative paper. If you have a repeating pattern like this one is, I'm going to make 4 copies of it so that I can fill in this whole page. So I'm going to click on it, I'm going to hit copy, and just so I can make sure they're all the same size, I'm going to make 4 of these, and then I'm going to delete the original because sometimes it will be smaller or larger. You can see I already did it here. And now I want to delete the original. So I'm just going to cut that out, or you could right click on it and hit delete. And now I have my 4 pieces. So I'm going to move these 3 down for the moment. I'm going to put this up in the corner. And then I'm going to bring up 1 copy. And what I want to do is find the area to combine it where the pattern will be correct. You see these are kind of elongated here. I want everything to be a complete circle. So I'm just going to move this around until I get it to make complete circles. Then I'm going to grab another piece and do the same thing here on the bottom. Move this one out the way for now. And I'm going to just concentrate on this one, and I'm going to move it around until it completely fits the pattern, making complete circles. And that looks good. So now I'm going to get the last one, and I'm going to do the same thing. This time I need to match it up with the top and the bottom. If it's not looking like it's matching, move it sideways, up and down until you get it where it's matching up perfectly. I think I need to bring it over some. And you kind of just play with it until you get it where you want, and that looks pretty good. Even zooming in, it looks like everything is pretty uniform. And that's how you can make a full sheet using just a little square of a repeating pattern. But a lot of times you will find some patterns that they look like they repeat, but they actually don't. So I just looked until I found one that actually would repeat. And now I'm just going to position this so that it will be uniform on the page without any halves. I'm going to reposition it a little bit. I don't want those halves, but I want the full page, so I'm just going to do a little adjusting until I get it where I want. And these are the pieces that I'm going to use to make the base. If I make a base, I haven't quite decided yet. I'm still seeing that little line, so I'm just going to make a white square just because I want my edges clean. I'm just going to resize it so that it's just at the top of the page, covering up that little row that was running me crazy. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm just going to go to File, Save As, and save that as paper for this project I'm working on. Now I'm ready to print those pages, and I'll show you how I'm going to put that together because I'm thinking of which way I want to do it. And you'll see once I get started with it. Alright. I thought I'd make some stripes too, just in case I decide to mix up the pattern. So I'm just going to go to cut out a picture by color selection, and I'm going to choose all similar so I can get all these red lines at the same time. Hit next and done. I'm going to bring up the teddy bear again, and I'm going to change all these lines to the color of the teddy bear, the pink in the teddy bear. So I'm going to go to Paint and Color Effects, Fill with a Solid Color, and I'm going to just click in this pink area. Oh, actually that works too, because I was going to change the other to brown. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that, and then I'm going to click on the stripes that I took out by themselves. Now I'm clicked on the stripes, and I'll change them to the brown. And that's how you make coordinating paper. So now I have coordinating paper, and I can put this back on the bottom, and I'll group my stripes and the pink background. And for this one, I can, since they're just stripes, I can just go ahead and pull them all the way down. So that they fill up the whole page. And now I have two different decorative papers. I'm going to save this one, and then I'll be cutting everything out. So I finally decided what I want to do for my base. I cut out a strip of the stripe paper, and I'm lining it up now, and I'm going to print 3 of these to go around the base that I'm going to make for the teddy bear to stand on. And I also decided how I wanted to use the fan folded papers. So once I print these sheets out, and then I need a circle of the polka dot the pink and white polka dot, then I will be ready to complete the base and the project. And now I'm going to bring up my polka dots, and I'm just going to make a circular cutout. It's not that. And I'm going to make a circular cutout by going to size and position. And I'm going to make a circular cutout by going to cutout in picture, cutout of picture with a cookie cutter shape, and I'm going to make it a circle. And I'm trying to think of the size of the circle that I have, because I want these circles to be uniform with the sheet of paper. So I think that might work. Let me see what I have. I'm going to try to make this as symmetrical as I can by putting it exactly over the same portion of circles, so I can make it as symmetrical as possible. It looks like the way the polka dots are shaped, that's not going to be an easy task. So I'm just going to put these quadrant markers. Yeah, that's working. I just decided to put the quadrant markers in the middle of the circles, and looks like that will work. I'm just going to pull it out a little more. And I think we've just about made a symmetrical circle. Pretty close. I just need to come down maybe a pixel or two. Yeah, I think that's about the closest I'm going to get it, so I'm going to go with that. Go ahead and hit next. And I'm going to have it go in its own shape all by itself, in its own picture. And I'm going to put a slight shadow around this just so I can see the edge. Trying to see which one would be better, this straight one or the soft one. Because I just want to see where to cut it in case I decide to do it in Cricut. I think I'll just cut it out myself, but that should work. So now I'm going to take it back to this page so that I can see how big I need to make it, because I want it to be about the same size as the print. So that will work. So now I'm just going to put a white sheet right behind my circle, and hopefully this approximation will be exactly the right size. So I'm going to go ahead and do File, Save As. I'm going to save that as a JPEG. Make it circ. And I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to print it and cut it out, and I'm going to print the stripes and cut them out, and we should be ready to put this all together. Hello, and welcome back to Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus. Today I'm going to be working on props, or I'm going to work on a prop and a centerpiece. I have a brand new baby niece that's going to be coming home from the hospital on Wednesday, and I want to make her as tall as maybe 3 sheets of paper, or as wide as 3 sheets of paper. So You could do this several ways.